Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Terry Talk. Wanted to focus today on a great article came across my desk from Vice magazine. And the title of the article is Business is Booming for Layoff Specialists. That's kind of interesting. They're saying that they've never seen anything like this before. And this is really happening a lot in the tech sector. Here's a quote: "Unfamiliar with the layoff process, overwhelmed tech firms are flooding experts with requests for help." And one CEO even said, HR departments are scrambling. They don't know what to do. And I think in the tech sector, if you're out there, you know, this is maybe hitting close to home for you. We've seen it with Amazon. We've seen it with Spotify. We've seen it with Better.com a few months ago. You recall that was a gong show layoff. People out there, you know, they're a little rusty. We've been focusing on hiring. We've been focusing on the Great Resignation, and we still are for the most part. That still holds true. But as the recession, you know, this nebulous, is it recession? Is it not recession? As it starts to potentially take hold, we're going to see more of this. Some organizations out there will not have had to have done something like this in quite some time. You're going to be a little bit rusty in this area. Other firms and organizations and HR folks may have never have done this at all in their entire history. The times have been really good. So whatever way you slice it, there may be some help needed. And as the article says, you know, HR departments, direct quote, are scrambling. So this is a bit of a refresher on what a good career transition or outplacement firm should do or ought to do for you. The number one job of a career transition firm is to protect everybody's brand, the organization's brand, their employer brand, and also the brand of the person who's in people that have been impacted by the change. You don't want a headline like Better.com had back in the beginning of the year. We did a Terry Talk on that a while ago. Go take a look at that one. That was epic gong show. 900 people terminated by the CEO over Zoom. And then P&O Ferries in the UK just did it about 4 weeks ago, where they had a long diatribe about how they had to make ends meet and whatnot. And at the end of the Zoom call, basically said, if you're on this call or if you're getting this message, I forget which one it was, you're done. Wow, how incredibly insensitive. Keep in mind, even if we go through a recession, the war for talent's not going away. Just look at the demographics. The demographics should scare you silly. We have a dearth of talent now, and it's only going to get worse in the future. So even though we go through a recession, might have some layoffs, might have some rearranging the deck chairs, if it were, your employer brand is still at play here. You don't want to mess it up because you do a termination or downsizing or layoff poorly. So number one job of a career transition firm, whoever you reach out to, they should be speaking to you about protecting your brand and protecting your employees, former employees' brand. It's really three phases to good career transition. There's the pre-termination phase. So a good career transition firm is going to work with you and your team to help with logistics, planning, getting the dates right. Is there anything that could be untoward in terms of sensitivities? Is it a birthday, an anniversary? I remember years ago, we worked with an organization that had planned things for November 11th. In Canada here, that's Remembrance Day. We had to move that off. Didn't even think about it at the time. Confirm the roles of everybody involved. What's your job? HR's job, the manager's job. You know, you're going to have to get your IT people involved to turn things on and off. How do you keep the information contained? Lots of planning, lots of moving parts here. You're going to need a hand with that, and a good career transition firm will help you with that. They will also help coach what to say. They'll help your managers coach what to say. Let's face it, giving somebody that piece of news, that's hugely stressful. Almost as equally stressful as the person receiving the news. A good career transition firm will give you a guidebook on this. They will coach you through this. They will support you through this. So career transition firm, a good one, is not just going to say, we just deal with the people after you've terminated them. They're involved right from the very beginning with the planning, processing, scripting, coaching, getting things right. Then there's the day of support. And this one's missed a lot. I got to be honest, it's missed a lot. We don't need on-site support. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that, I wouldn't be doing these Terry Talks. I'd be retired. Here's the deal. Use the on-site support. This is one of life's bigger stressors, losing the job. People are going to be upset. How do you deal with somebody who is upset? Maybe they're going to be angry. How do you prevent them from lashing out and doing something that could, quite frankly, ruin their reputation. People are emotional. When people are under stress, they're not always 100% rational. This is huge for them. Having day of on-site support, a career transition consultant there to help you and your management team deliver the news, but also to help that person exit the building with their dignity in check, with their professionalism in check, that their brand is protected. They then get to know what they have to do. I mean, a good career transition firm will give the people something like this. It'll say to them, here's what you need to do in the next 72 hours. This is the guidebook, and it really helps people focus. Good career transition support with on-site support, make sure the person gets home okay. That's important. You don't want something bad to happen there. They're going to check in with the person on the day. And more importantly than anything else, they're going to get them focused on the future. They're going to get those employees that have been impacted by the change, get them focused on the future, not what's happened already, not what's happened in the past. That's why day of support is just uber critical from our perspective. And then, of course, there's the transition support, which most people think of. So we're going to be asking questions. What do you want to do when you grow up? Put that in air quotes. Kind of a silly question. But for some people, it's like, maybe this is an opportunity for me to change directions. We're going to talk to them about how they're a value generator and not just a job seeker. They're going to talk about building a plan. In Ahria, we call it a personalized business plan. We're going to work with a reason for leaving statement. How do they position what's happened in a positive light? What is their value proposition? Networking support, all the things you can imagine are involved there. Most importantly, a really good career transition firm is going to do this. When the person lands in their next opportunity and they come by and they say, thanks very much, a good career transition firm is going to say, don't thank me, thank your former employer. They paid for the service, they provided the benefit. That's uber critical. Why? Because this goes back to protecting your brand. So what's in it for you? Well, if you're an employer out there, this is a tough decision. It's a tough thing to articulate to people. Appreciate the support that it can be. It's absolutely huge. We had a candidate, I remember years ago, who was writing a vicious comment on Glassdoor about the former employer. They showed it to me. I said, do you feel better? They said, what do you mean? I said, you need to delete that because it's just going to make you look bad and it's not going to help you with your former employer. That helps your brand. People who still work with you, they want to know, hey, listen, if things get tight around here and you know, we get shown the door, or we get asked that leave, or we get the layoff notice, then we're going to get looked after. Having career transition support, we work with your managers, help build those empathy skills. You know, people get it. Circumstances change. Work is always a temp job. Don't believe anything else. You're always in a temp job. It's never permanent. It's never going to last forever. By providing good career transition support when you're facing that potential layoff or terminations, it cements your brand as a great place to work. Yes, we've had to make some tough choices, but when we make those tough choices, we support our people always and every time that it's required. Demographics here, folks, they're not on our side. You can't afford to have a bad employer brand. And career transition is a great way when you're facing those tough choices to make sure you maintain a great employer brand.